Welcome everyone to USC Upstate. You're in College Algebra, also known as Math 121, and you should be in Section 2. We will meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3:05 to 4:20 in the Hodge Center, room 253. That's on the second floor, of course. College Algebra. I'm really glad to have you here, and I hope you'll enjoy the semester. Now, my name is Dale Saylor. Now, just right off the bat, Dale is not my first name, so you might see my first name as Owen, but Owen is not a name to call me by because I usually ignore it. My name is Dale. You can find me in the office in the Hodge Center, and before we get too far along here, just in case I want to make a note of some kind, I'm going to get the pen going here. There we go. And check it out here, make sure it's making marks. Okay, there we go. So let's test it out. So Hodge Center, room 238. I live in Spartanburg, South Carolina, just where Upstate is, about 8 miles away. There's my phone number. That's my real phone number, 864-580-3748. If you've got an emergency and you really need an answer to something, you can call me. That's perfectly fine. If you try texting me, that's a different story altogether. Texting is quick. However, when you talk about responses or even questions and responses both are easier to do by email or by phone, but especially email. That's my favorite mode of information transfer. So, emails. There are my emails. First of all, the official one, sayloro@uscupstate.edu. Notice there's an O there. That wasn't my choice, of course. And my favorite really is saylormath@outlook.com. Why is it my favorite? Because for you, it gets you a quicker response. I see Saylor Math more often during the day and evening too than I do any other email. So that probably would be your best bet if you want to contact me and get an answer. Okay, here's the textbook. Notice at the bottom I mentioned you can use the 12th or 13th edition. I've actually got a copy of both just in case. This is the 12th edition, and my guess is that might be a little bit less expensive, so you might want to go with that one. That's the official one. Next, Blackboard. That is a big deal. Get accustomed to going to Blackboard. In fact, this might be where you found this video. Blackboard is going to have a lot of information for you. Look in Blackboard on the left-hand side under Course Content. Under Course Content, one of the things you're going to find is the syllabus. And that syllabus has a lot of information, just like this video does. You have all the assignments for the entire semester, and you've got folders, one folder for each chapter that we're going to talk about, and all the slides for the lessons, and much more. I've even got some graph paper there you can print out. That's a lot cheaper than going to a store and buying graph paper. It's next to free. And as this mentions here, if there's something that you think ought to be there, something you need, just ask me. Maybe I have it and I just hadn't put it there. Next, very important. Not only getting accustomed to going to Blackboard for information and getting the syllabus. Oh, don't forget, print out the syllabus the first chance you get. And if there's an update during the semester, which happens occasionally, print that one out and throw out the last one. Now, the lessons are on YouTube. They're not in Blackboard. So you might want to put this on pause. If you had two screens, for example, you could put this on pause, go over to Google Chrome or whatever browser you use, go to YouTube, search for Dale Saylor. You want the Dale Saylor channel. Once you find that, look for the playlists. The playlist for college algebra probably is the second one on the list. College algebra, math 121, that's you. And obviously, USC Upstate, fall 2023. Next, as well as watching those lessons, and we'll get back to that a little bit, keep current. Follow every lesson with the exercises as listed in the syllabus. These exercises are your homework. You're going to turn those in. We'll talk more about that later too. Here's my schedule. So if you want to drop by the office and just chat or ask me a question, whatever you want to do, here are the times that I'll be in class, so you won't be able to find me. And up here at the top are my office hours. What you'll usually find is that I'm there a lot of the time. So even though these are the ones I'm listing, you probably can find me anytime that I'm not in class. Usually I get there between 9 and 10 o'clock, and anytime I'm not in class, I'm in the office. If you don't see me there, it probably means I'm down the hall, so just wait and I'll probably be right back. So for you, this is your class right here. And of course, it's Tuesday and Thursday, 3:05 to 4:20, so it's a little bit late in the afternoon. Just make sure you're awake, okay? I'll be awake, so you should be awake too. These are the other times I've got the other classes. This one's 11:30 Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's pretty regular. And then I've got one class that's sort of unusual. It's college mathematics, but it meets in two different classrooms and on two different days and two different times. So say a prayer for them because they might be a little bit confused for a week or two. All right, let's get back to the lessons again. Just to reiterate, go to YouTube, search for my name, Dale Saylor, to find my channel. You need that channel. Once you're at the channel, there are certain playlists. There are a number of playlists that I've got. Yours is going to be, I think, either first or second, probably second on the list. So that's pretty easy to find. Select the playlist for College Algebra 121 Upstate for fall 2023. That makes sense, right? I didn't have to tell you that part. And what you might want to do when you get to that playlist, you might want to bookmark it so you can get back there a lot easier. Now, once you found it once, you should be able to find that pretty easily. Now, number one on this list, watch the video lesson for the next section to be covered. Now, for you, right now, your first section is going to be Chapter 1, Section 1. Watch that video once you're finished with this one. Take notes. Also, questions. Make a list of the questions you need to ask me in class. The lessons can never be perfect, whether they're in class or on YouTube. So keep a list of the questions and bring those with you to get your answers. I'll answer all your questions. Even if you ask me about the wrong class, if you ask me about college mathematics, I'll answer those questions too, but let's stick to college algebra as much as we can, all right? All right, those are the lessons on YouTube. Go to YouTube, search for Dale Saylor channel, go to the playlists, pick up the right playlist, bookmark it, and then start watching the videos and doing the lessons. Every section we covered, which is mostly chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, and a bit of a bite out of chapter 5 maybe, depending on how much time we have. Every topic is explained in a YouTube video. You can call it a lecture or whatever you want. Watch that, take notes, list your unresolved questions, bring those to class. Complete the assignment that goes along with it. At least start it. If you can't finish it, that is no problem whatsoever. If you can't finish it, bring it to class. And while someone else is having a question answered, you can be working on finishing your assignment, and that way you can ask questions you need to, and if something comes up during class while you're finishing it, you got me right there to answer your question. The assignments, see the syllabus. The syllabus has all of the assignments. Bring your questions to class. If I can't answer your question, it won't be on any test or quiz or anything else. All right. Some, hopefully, trivia. You're responsible for all the material in the YouTube lessons. Those are assigned in the syllabus. Anything discussed in class or assigned, you're responsible for. If you miss class, don't ask me what went on in class. I'm not responsible for that. You are. If you want to know what goes on in class and you're sick or something, number one, you can always see the YouTube lesson anyway. And number two, you could always have a buddy in this class. And if you have to miss a class, you could ask to see their notes or to talk with it person to person. I'll take attendance at every class. You'll be recorded as absent if you leave early. Leaving early would be rather rude, right? So don't do it. We're establishing good habits here. Being rude is not one of those. If you're late, make sure you remind me at the end of class so I count you as present. You don't want to fail for not attending. Now here's a new one. Most likely new for all of you. This is called J1Q, and that stands for just one question. Now what does that mean? The short version is you must have at least one question ready to ask every time you come to class. Now how does this work? Well, first of all, you're going to get 5 points free, and that's on your final grade. You get those free. You got them right now. However, you have to keep those 5 points. If you come to class, let's say on a Tuesday, and I call on you and I say, Charlene, what's your question today? If you've got a question, good, fantastic. Answer it and we'll move on. If you don't have a question, not one single question, you lose one of those 5 points. And that's on your final grade. So if you lose one of those, that puts you down to a maximum possible of 99% for the whole semester. So make sure that you have some question with you. You must have a question every class meeting. Now you can ask multiple questions, but have at least one ready. A couple of special announcements. if you have special needs of any kind, two things I want to say about this, because you can pause and read this. Check with disability services. The phone number's right here. You can call them. Call early. Don't wait. They'll find some way of helping you. And the second thing is, check with me too. You might want to check in my office. That way it's a little bit more personal. You don't have to talk in front of someone else. I'm not sure why I wrote the two. So if there's something I can do to help you, I'll do it, even before disability services gets involved. Second, mental health resources for all. This is very important. This is something that we were requested about 2 months ago to put in our syllabus. And of course I put it here too. USC Upstate has counseling services. So if you've got a problem with medication management, psychological testing, whatever, check with the counseling services. Here's the phone number and here's their email address. Very nice people. I've had contact with them. And if there's anything I can do in support of you, let me know. Now, I have some issues of my own. Sometimes depression, and I sometimes take medicine for that. Well, sorry, I do take medicine for that. So you're not alone. I understand. All right, now some real trivia. You can pause and read through these. A couple of special notes. Make sure you're on time. Get ready to take notes. Now, it's possible that you might have a class somewhere that's a little bit distant from the Hodge Center. So you might have a problem getting there on time. Let me know what the deal is, and I'll work with that. If I know that, for example, perhaps you have a class down at the George. Oh my gosh, that's several miles away. You're going to have a very hard time getting to my class on time. Get there as quickly as you can and just slide in and get part of the class, and make sure you have your J1Q. Stay there till the class is dismissed. Stay alert. Don't do something else. Turn off cell phones and beepers. Please don't talk when I'm talking or when other students are asking questions. Use good manners. That goes without saying. All the rest are using good manners, really. Please ask questions anytime. The assignments are due at certain times. Make sure it's neat so I can read it, and hopefully in pencil. Now, I admit some of the things that I do are in pen, but when I make a mistake, that's a big mess. Pencil, at least, you can erase. So I would recommend the pencil. In fact, what you might want to do is, if you haven't tried one before, you might try mechanical pencil. I learned to like those in college, and they've become one of my staples. Next, calculator. Lots of times people ask me, do I need a calculator? Yes, definitely. Sometimes we want to do a quick graph of an equation. Well, with calculators, you can do it in seconds. Whereas if you have to do it by hand, it might take several minutes. That's a big difference in time. Now, the two that I have and I can help you with at any time are the TI-84 Plus CE, I left out the plus, and the TI Inspire. Now, you don't have to have the non-CAS version, but if you're buying one, I would suggest the non-CAS version because, well, you can ask me in class if you like. The CAS version is not allowed some places. These are the ones I'm going to use for examples in class. If you've got a Casio or some other brand, that's fine. Just make sure you know how to use it. But these I can help you with. No matter what question you have on either of these two, it's almost a 99.9% chance that I'm going to be able to answer it. And last but not least, keep this in mind all semester long. We're a team, and I want you to work with me so you can be successful. Now, once in a while, not too often, things might happen in the class that make it less than the best environment in the class. I had something happen about a year ago, and we made an adjustment in class. Someone was moved to a different seat, and everything worked well from then on. You can check with me by email. The Sailor Math address is the best one. Cell phone, yes. Remember, no texts. If you need some other arrangement, just check with me. If you want to see me in the office and it's not during one of my regular hours, you can either try stopping by or check with me to see if I can meet you at a particular time. Maybe earlier or later, whatever is possible. And again, sometimes I do repeat, but if I repeat, it's very important. Announcements. Sometimes I might throw an announcement on Blackboard. Sometimes I might just send everyone an email. So at least check these daily, at the very least. All right, let's get started. And let's start with something pretty easy. Excuse me a sec. Your first assignment is to write a paragraph about yourself. What this basically is you're introducing yourself to me. You can write about anything you like. What are some of the things that maybe you did in high school or you do in off hours? Maybe you've got a special hobby. Whatever it is, while you're doing that, have fun doing it. I would like it to be at least 5 sentences, and I'd like you to add 2 things. Now I only have one here, but I'm going to add one. It says, please add to this after the 5 sentences. What was the last mathematics class you attended? Whether it's high school or college, whatever it is. The second thing I want you to add to that is, do you know the next class you're supposed to take? For example, there are some students who, after they take this, go on to Math 122, and this is sometimes referred to as business calculus. So, what was the last one you attended? And what do you think you might have after this class is finished successfully? And I want you to do 2 things. First of all, I want you to type it up, and I want you to send the copy to sailormath@outlook.com. That way everything's coming into the same place. The second thing I want you to do is not only type it up and send me a copy, but bring a copy to class. Or, even better, to my office. Remember, that's Hodge. 238. Now, why did I put an exclamation point there? Because if you bring it to my office, I can read it real fast, and we can have a little conversation. If I see something really interesting, something we have in common, it'd be fun to talk about it. So the first one, paragraph about yourself. And you can make it as long as you like. Have fun with it. I'm going to have fun reading it. Assignment number 2. This is also easy. It's time consuming, but probably going to be easy for you. On Blackboard, in the course content, you're going to find a worksheet on calculator exercises. And this is how it works. So here's your sheet, and there's a header up here, and it's number 1. This has something to do with your calculator, and you're trying to find the correct answer. Over here is the answer. What you want to do is take this question, work it on your calculator, and check to see whether you have the correct answer. If you have the correct answer, check that off, move on. Move on to number 2. Work this one out on your calculator. See if your answer here is correct. If it is, great, move on. All you need to do is just go through those. By the time you get to the end, you can be sure that you're going to be able to use the calculator for anything we need in college algebra. Now, there is one thing about these. There are 120 questions. That's a lot, and it takes a bit of time. So what you might try doing is a couple of things. First of all, if you really think you know your calculator, what you might do is start with number 5. See if you can do that. Good? Keep going. Try number 10. Is that good? Good. Keep going by 5s. If those are all successful, you probably are good with your calculator. Maybe. What I would recommend instead, though, now this is if you are short on time. What I would suggest, though, is you take the even ones or the odd ones. Check out number 2. Can you get it? Good. Check it off. Try number 4. Check it off until you get down to number 20. And if you've done all those correctly, great. If you have trouble, there's always YouTube, of course, or just Google and in specific, find the tutorial on it. But you can also check with me, or you can check with a friend. The TI-84 Plus CE has a keyboard that many students are familiar with. So if you have a question, you might have a friend in the class or in another class that can tell you how to do that particular assignment. All right, then, so you're going to have this paper. You're going to be checking things off as you get them correct. When you get them all done correctly, bring your copy to class, turn it in, and get credit for the homework. And that'll be an assignment. It'll be your second assignment. And even the paragraph to introduce yourself, you get credit for that too. All right, assignment number 3. Well, this one probably won't be quite as easy as the other 2, but it's a good start. So this is the regular plan. First of all, what was the last lesson you had? If you didn't have any yet, you're going to be starting with section 1.1. Watch that lesson on YouTube, taking questions and taking notes, those questions to bring to class. Complete the exercises for that section. Those are listed in the syllabus. Now you might have some questions that make it hard for you to do the exercises. That's no problem. Bring it to class with your questions. As soon as you have your question answered by me, then go back to work on your homework in class. That way, if you get a second question coming up, I'm there. The assignment's estimated due dates are in the syllabus. However, they're estimated because it depends on how things go. Let's suppose we get to section, let's just pick something, section 3-4. And we find that section 3-4, chapter 3, section 4, is a bit on the difficult side. There are lots of questions. Well, maybe we need to spend 2 days on that. Oops. If we have to spend 2 days on that, then it's going to impact the schedule for these due dates. So the due dates are a general idea, but they're not the gospel. All right, this is my rendition of the exam schedule. This is not official. To get the official one, you should go to the Upstate website and get the official exam schedule. This is the one that I created for myself so I can see things a little bit easier than I can on the website. The one on the website, to me, seems rather cluttered and hard to find what you need. If you check with yours and you find that I've made a mistake somewhere, let me know. And I'll change it and update that in the syllabus. Well, that's about all I can think of right now. I hope I haven't missed anything important, but if I did, guess what? Just write it down, bring it to class, or just send an email now. You know what my emails are. If you think it's important, you need to know before tomorrow, call me. Oh, by the way, if you do call me, tell me who you are. I don't know your voice. In fact, I don't even know your name yet. I'm going to get to know it. Now, it's time to get going. It seems like December's a long way off, but by the time we get to about mid-October, it seems like December is getting very, very close. So let's get going. Make sure you keep on schedule. On schedule. That's going to be your mantra. Well, that's all I have for now. Check out what's on Blackboard, print out the syllabus and print out the calculator worksheet. Go to YouTube and find out where the playlist is, bookmark that, and watch the first lesson. That's about it. Until then, you take care and keep smiling. Bye-bye.